Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Triguna-rahitam Sadgurum Tam Namam. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Nirvana Prakarana Purvārdha, Section 43. Rama, having listened to the divine teachings, experiences spiritual bliss. Sri Rama said, "O sage, I have attained freedom from all doubts of the mind. I know all that is to be known. I have attained supreme satisfaction." What's presented to you, what's being presented to you is the goal of life. Goal of life is to realize the I am, who am I? And the fulfillment that is experienced with that revelation. That fulfillment cannot be described through the mind. It's indescribable. But you can't leave it at that. If you want to teach people, you cannot simply say, "Oh, it's indescribable." You have to describe it. Give some verbal expression to it, but always reminding that Brahman is far beyond. There is nothing in this creation which is abiding and enduring, and hence nothing to be desired by me. What should you desire? In a very mature way, try to figure out. So far, have you succeeded? Have desired so many. Gained what you wanted to desire. And still you continue to perspire. And you are not tired. So, extend your mind to all the three lokas and the greatest attainment that you can have in the world. This is presented in the scriptures in allegorical way. How demoniac mind practices great austerities that go on extending for years and yugas, and end up asking God for the boon of immortality. The idea that a complete fulfillment is possible in this world of time, space, causation, and to stay in this world forever with immense power. But God declines to do that. He says you can ask any other boon, but not immortality. Anyone who is born must die. If you view yourself an embodied soul coming into the world of time and space, you cannot stay as embodied soul even if you were to stay for 1,000,000 years or even a trillion years. This is not fulfillment, not perfection. In brief, in the world process, which is like a dream, you cannot find fulfillment. You have to wake up from your dream to discover that all that you were dreaming was extensions of your own consciousness. Your pure consciousness is what you are. Rama continues, I am like the mystic Mandarachala mountain, enveloped by mystic ocean of milk. Here's a picture of Amrit Manthan. The ocean of milk was churned by the mystic mountain, and gods enjoyed nectar, and demons were deluded, left behind. All that, I'm not entering into that allegorical teaching. But here the idea is, if you attain enlightenment, the fulfillment is like having all the nectar that you churn out of the milky ocean. Milky ocean is sattva, sattvic prakriti. And all the nectar that sattvic prakriti can yield, the nectar yielding means your movement from sattvic state to transcendental state. The churning process is highly allegorical description. The real churning is nitidhyasan. Who am I? And allowing your mind to flow towards the revelation of I am. That movement is real churning. The result of that churning is attainment of nectar, immortality. O sage, by your grace, Rama is talking to sage Vasistha. By your grace, I have crossed the ocean of the world process, which surges with the waves of hunger and thirst, gain and loss, birth and death. All these are called urmis. Urmis means waves. Shat urmis, 7 waves out in the Bhavasagar, in the ocean of the world process. If you are in the ocean, you enjoy these waves. What are the waves? Janma Maran, birth and death. You live your whole life with so much story and so much detail, but it's just a little wave. You have waved goodbye to countless embodiments. And this personality of yours is one of the little waves. Birth and death. Birth is a wave, death is a wave. Shudha pipasha, hunger is a wave, thirst is a wave. Harsha shok, joy and sorrow. birth, death, hunger, thirst, joy and sorrow. These 6 points are called urmis. They are the waves in the ocean of the world process. I have attained the climax of prosperity. I have also experienced the depths of pain. Having attained the infinite bliss of the self, I have become supremely perfect. My mind has trampled upon the elephants of desire in the battlefield of the world process. I have overcome all miseries in the form of forces of ignorance. What Rama is expressing is a revelation of the truth. What is the truth? What's the highest attainment? State of Sthita Prajna. When you are rooted in the eternal identity, Aham Brahmasmi, that's your real identity. All souls are like reflected suns in different jars of water. I am is the absolute sun. I have attained the epitome of prosperity. Epitome prosperity means describing that in this world you may attain the highest prosperity the world can present to you. Think of it. It depends upon your own mind. Every mind thinks of highest goal according to their state. No two persons have exactly the same goal before them, because mind is limited. But suppose you have gained the highest that you ever can dream of. But along with it, you also get lowest and most degraded states of experience, depths of pain. No gain without pain. Having attained the infinite bliss of the self, I have become supremely perfect. My mind has trampled upon the elephants of desire in the battlefield of the world process. I have overcome all enemies in the form of the forces of ignorance. All the restless thoughts in my mind have vanished. The desires have fled. The mind has become free from miserliness and contraction. Miserliness. The term is akarpanya. Karpanya is miserliness. Akarpanya is absence of miserliness. When you think of yourself and what you want to be, all that you think is miserly. It's like a story of a man who has buried treasure, and he doesn't know that he is sleeping every day on a vast treasure. Treasure is under his floor, deep in the earth. But he has been going all over the world to find security of his wealth. But right where he sleeps day by day, there is big treasure. The idea I'm presenting is that right in your own heart, your own essential nature, every reflected sun is the sun. And the sun is the treasure of all treasures. Similarly, every soul is Brahman. That revelation requires your mind to be akarpanya, no miserliness in it. Do not develop a limitation in your thinking. Let me pray to God, oh God, give me, at least give me some gas for my car. That's the illustration of karpanya, miserliness. As divine worship, as we have explained before, advances, real worship begins with so many stages being introduced to your Ishta mantra. Learning the art of japa, kirtan, along with it, practice of your integral yoga in daily life. As you go on doing all this, you end up worshipping the self. Worshipping the self is not ordinary adoration, but is a revelation, an affirmation, aham brahmasmi, leading to realization of Brahman. That's the climax of worship movement. So Lord Rama says, my mind has become free from miserliness and contraction. It has overcome even the joys of the full moon in a clear blue sky. While describing the ananda of God realization, you are again and again given the simile that your heart becomes a firmament in which bliss of the self shines like the full moon. Full moon and beautiful sky. Rama says that's not enough. Because these palabra, these words, realizing it will be a totally different matter. You will not need to describe it. Realizing it is your goal. When you realize I am the sun doesn't have to explain to everybody about his self-effulgent nature. I am the surging ocean, surging waves in the ocean of milk. Milk referring to absolute sattva, purity. I abide in the Supreme Self, wherein there blooms the lotus of infinite bliss. Section 44. The method of destroying attachments. Attachment is asakti, sangha, based on raga dvesha, likes and dislikes. You get attached to objects that you think will give you a lot of happiness. But then comes a time when you find those objects are not the source of your happiness. Now you take a lot of your energy how to get out of it. So there is a constant effort. Come to me, don't leave me. Get out. This predicament is called asakti, raga dvesha. So, you need to be free of this asakti and the sense of doership. I am the doer. Means you are gripped by karma granthi. Because in the relative world of time and space, that you are always being led by karma. Create karma, you modify karma, you enhance your karma. All your goal, pleasure and pain are in the realm of karma. That point we have discussed before and will continue to do so. How to be in the state of akarma, always being conditioned by karma. That's the practical predicament of people. All souls are being led by law of karma. And whatever you do, that all simply modifies your karma. The secret lies in not just whatever you do, but turn your life's energy in an integral way, karma, bhakti, dhyana and jnana, and allow these four to be in a rhythmic melody, as it were. If you do so, doership will vanish. The Gita has given a mystic formula. Karma plus vikarma becomes akarma. Do the same karma. Karma referring to the lifestyle. Live your life in every detail. Life of action, life of your emotional fulfillment, life of your will, the life of your understanding, all these four. But put them with such a skill that each one becomes a yoga. Your action begins to purify your heart. It becomes karma yoga. Your emotion develops love of God. Your will enables you to surrender to God and have no will of your ego, but God's will operating through you. And your understanding should not stay limited to your intellectual level. It should be intuitional, all-encompassing wisdom. So these four become blended in a melodious way, then you are called a yogi. And in order to do that, karma plus vikarma. Vikarma refers to switching the direction, karma yoga, karma marga, just following the path of karma. Do the same karma with a special attitude. Live your same day, same type of a day, but start with your meditation, japa, prayer, and they start blending these vikarmas. These are called vikarmas, those spiritual sadhana that transmutes anger into love, pride into humility. So as you do, the negative in you begins to be sublimated. then it becomes. So it's called, all this is called vikarma. So karma blended with a special attitude, a special feeling, becomes a mystic movement to enlightenment. It becomes akarma. Instead of creating karma, you are coming closer and closer to God realization. Objects of the world sparkle with promises of joy, but only for a moment. They continue to delight the mind as long as the mind continues to sustain a desire for them. When desire is withdrawn, the objects lose their enchantment. The idea is simple point that happiness is not in objects. Only when any object is fascinating because you have vasana for it, you have a desire. That desire as if polishes the object. And in that polish you see your own self reflecting not in a clear manner, in a distracted way. In other words, you are finding the bliss of the self in a wrong way, in objects of the world. But the moment desire moves away from the object, that object loses its charm. So what was charming? Your own self, always. This is profound psychology, Vedantic psychology. You love no one else and will never do. You love yourself. Atmanastu kamaya. For the sake of self, all becomes dear. But that self is not your ego. Having rested in the summit of the mountain of Atmagyan, you should not fall back into the chasm of egoistic vision. See the difference between two types of vision. Egoistic vision, where you are led to have the concept of prosperity on the basis of your karma. You are on the height of a great mountain. But in reality, you are not on a height. You are diving deep into a mess. On the other hand, when you develop the awareness, I am Brahman, I am not the body, mind, intellect. That awareness, I am Brahman, places you on the mountain top of wisdom. Compared to that mountain top of wisdom, your greatest prosperity in the world is something deep into a dungeon. He who has constantly meditated upon the self, who has destroyed the seed of attachment and hatred by overcoming ignorance, cannot fall into the depths of delusion. So these are the points that you must highlight. Meditate upon the self, who am I? And follow those points of Mahavakyas. Prajnanam Brahma, you are pure awareness. Figure out what awareness is. And in that figuring out, discover what type of deep fulfillment enters your heart. Tattvamasi, thou art that. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. I am Atma Brahman. And ultimate goal of nididhyasan or deep reflection is realization. I am Atma, this very self, the self that is operating through your mind, intellect, ego, that very self is Brahman, the Absolute. By taking recourse to detachment, O Rama, convert your desires into desirelessness. This whole movement is Asanga movement, moving away from karma, being established in akarma, where karma doesn't exist. So, your desire will progressively turn into desirelessness, converts your thoughts into thoughtlessness. So the best desire you can have is desirelessness. Best thinking you can do is thoughtlessness. And best mind you can possess, the mind that has been burnt up. Wherever you cast your vision, discern the presence of the Supreme Self as the underlying reality. Wherever your mind goes, allow your mind to firstly be sensitive and ready to follow this advice. Now see objectively, where is your mind going? So wherever it goes, bring your hand of understanding on top of it. Pat upon the mind. Wherever it goes, it is going towards the same self. Or knocking at a door. The door in reality is Brahman. I'm joking, but whatever different types of reflections enter your consciousness. Your mind, whatever your mind thinks, is reflections in consciousness. Consciousness remains unaffected. God abides, underlying all names and forms. So no matter whatever you are, your mind is focused upon, see God behind names and forms. All this is Brahman, the Absolute. All this is I am. When you rise above the pleasant as well as the painful experiences of the world, you will be established in equal vision. Equal vision needs to be practiced, and you gain success in a progressive manner. What does it imply? See, every day of your life presents certain challenges. Challenge comes in a positive way, apparently, or in a negative way. Positive way, things that you wanted, they come to you in abundance, prosperity. Negative way, adversity. Don't let your mind be shaken. Shake in a practical world to handle things in different ways. But don't be shaken at your root. This type of shaking has gone on from your childhood. So, remember the formula. even this will pass away. If it is adversity, it will pass away. Prosperity, that also will pass away. So, allow your mind to be calm and relaxed. That's the practice of serenity. And serenity is a great way to liberation. But don't wait for practicing serenity 6 months later. But try practicing it. No matter how weak may be your practice, how limited may be your practice, it's better to practice with defect. As you practice, you begin to correct yourself and become much more successful. But if you don't practice, you will not gain serenity. But whatever helps you to gain serenity is a part of your sadhana. If you gain serenity in all conditions, then it is you are endowed with equal vision, samadrishti. No matter how things are happening, your drishti is towards your identity, aham brahmasmi. No matter how reflected suns shake, how illuminations come and go, all these happen. But if you have sunward vision, for the sun, nothing is changing. It's equal vision. The sun is the same. Apparently, sun is shaking in a jar. In another jar, this reflected sun is being poured out of the jar into another jar. So many things are happening. But all these happenings to the reflected sun does not in any way impact upon the real sun. This magnanimous revelation is the goal of your life. So if you were to rise above the pleasant and painful experiences, you will be established in equal vision, and you will experience the vast expansion of the self, like the grandeur of the blue sky. Although internally, without vasanas, you must continue to perform your duties in day-to-day life. Now also understand what will happen to your vasanas if you follow the spiritual path of the divine worship, the way Yoga Vasistha has described. To understand that point, just again reiterating, the vasanas that you need to remedy, they are klishta vasanas. Vasanas based upon ignorance, egoism, attachment, hatred, fear of death. Whatever opposes klishta vasana is called shubha vasana. They are really divinely positive vasana. And when positive completely triumphs over the negative, then you have conquered your vasanas. In this plan of understanding vasana, turn your attention to 5 stages. Prasupta. In children, vasana movement is dormant. Karma karmas are there, for negative vasanas are all there, but they remain latent. A child may be show a little agitation, next moment shows totally acute look of love. The child doesn't hold, as if child has no vasanas. But not so. The vasanas are there, but they are sleeping. They are dormant. So understand, this is an illustration about child. Everyone has certain dormant vasana, and that sleeps like Kumbhakarana. And in a divine plan, it is bound to be awakened in a progressive way. When you start practicing your sadhana, your vasanas undergo purification. Then it's called tanu avastha. The negativity in you becomes thinned out. Your anger, your hate, your raga, your dvesha, they begin to thin out. Then it's called attenuated state. So thin out that you may think that you have conquered your mind. But there is an error. The moment you relax your sadhana, that I have already attained Kundalini yoga, I have listened to the sound of Anahata. The moment you relax, now all that raga, dvesha come, dominate your mind. So tanu avastha, that's what tanu avastha I have explained. Next avastha is vichinna avastha. Vichinna means you are able to clean up your negative impurities. But impurities, you simply hide them, don't clean them out completely. Just like we invited people for Thanksgiving. But put all the dust and negative under your rug. So they come and they get afflicted. Virus. I'm joking. I'm not joking much. That could be chinna avastha. And then, in other words, your impurities hide, apparently under the guise of goodness. That's called disguise. But when your impurity cannot hide, then it's called udar avastha, a generous state. So these are the ugly stages of your klishta vasana. But the final state, that is the goal of all this, is dagdha bij avastha, dagdha avastha. Dagdha means burnt up vasana. That state comes when you are enlightened. Intellect turns into intuition. Then all these samskaras, impressions that are hiding in your unconscious, they become impotent. They will not work. Just like film negatives. When the light is shed over the negatives, this is an old style simile. All the photographies become neutralized. So similarly, that's Dagdha Avastha. So keeping in view this story of the Vasanas, keep your goal to promote Shubha Vasana and continue to move away from Ashubha Vasana. And with this, I will conclude. Om Ram 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 Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om. Prayer for shower of Karunamaya Ras grace over all with the blessings of Shakti, Bhakti and Mukti. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukum Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyama Mritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.